Well, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the fifth and last in the series. My name is Kate Bowditch, and we are going to do some interesting work today. Last time that we got together, we really took a look at some of the big blocks to our own progress, and it all seems to boil down to fear. And so we've got some steps in that direction. I hope you've given a lot of thought, a little practice. You have your one person now that is going to help you, encourage you, say yes to you. That they don't even have to do anything else, but just say, okay, and how about this, and have you tried that, and that sort of thing. So you've got that person, you've got your methods of kind of blowing off the people who don't like what you're doing, and there's always those people, so don't worry about that. It's not just you. And you've got your dream is clarified, absolutely, and you've got that dream picture up on your refrigerator. You're seeing it every day. Now, you really also need to keep that clarified dream in a place where you read it at least once a day. And keep yourself there. Keep yourself there and moving towards that. So here we go. We're going to figure out the steps, how to actually begin. Because a dream is only a dream until it's reality. And there's always pushback. So sometimes the more pushback, the more you know your dream is really big. And that's pretty cool. So here we are. We've got your big dream, and you're running towards your goal. Now I'm going to use a few examples. And this is a process of backwards chaining an event so that each step you take leads you towards that. Because the step at the end right now is too big for you to take, obviously, because you're here and not in your dream. So, and you're not the person yet who can manage that big dream. But you will be. By the time you get there, you will be that person. That's that change. You will be that empowered person. You will be that person who successfully lives that dream. Because you'll know how by the time you get there. So here is your dream. And here's our flagpole, and there's our monkey, and he's going to go up and down the flagpole. Just put monkey over there. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. I worked for many years in the world of special education. And I learned about teaching complex systems to kids who really couldn't learn it from the beginning. They had to learn it from the other end, which sounds odd. So, and I'll give you an example. I was asked that one of the kids in one of the places I worked just wouldn't make his bed. And he didn't have a clue how to make a bed. He barely knew what the bed was for. They put him in bed every night, but they really wanted him to make his own bed. And they weren't going to be terribly particular about how carefully it was made. They just wanted him to do it. So I tried the usual ways where you take the kid to the bed and you shake out the sheets and you have it, the rocking would begin, and pretty soon he was either just awful to live with or it was a meltdown. It wasn't going to happen. So we backed it up and we brought him to his bed, and it was beautifully made. We already made the bed. It was beautifully made. And that was it. A couple of days, we just bring him to the bed, sit on the bed, read a story, have a nice time on the bed. And then one day we brought him to the bed, and it was perfectly made, except that the sheet was turned back. All put together, a little blanket, little sheet, were turned back. And all he had to do was to pull that sheet up. And he was there. And it was made, and we laughed and had a good time, and we read a story, and it was great. So after a couple of days, he would go up to the bed, pull the sheet up, sit on the bed, and get ready for his story. And that's great. So a few days after that, we brought it, and the sheets were way down by the foot of the bed. And so one of us got on one side of the bed, and he got on the other, and pulled the sheets up. And then we sat down, we had a nice time, and he was great, and we had a little story, and life was good. Well, then we had the day where he had to start on one side, then he had to come back and pull the sheet up all by himself. That was a great day. We got that. And then there was, there was the day where he put the pillows on the bed and then pulled the sheet up. And I left at that time, but they at some point had gotten, by going backwards in little bitty steps, they could send him to his bare mattress with sheets, and he would make the bed from scratch. And he knew how to do it, and he was very proud of himself. And he was a much different fellow from the fellow who would rock and bite himself when given the task of making his bed. So that's just a way to think about it. That sometimes, and we do this with our kids all the time, and we're all bad at that. We say, at a certain age, we say, you gotta go get a job. And that term, get a job, is one word, get a job. Kid doesn't have a clue what that means. And so they get very anxious and they get miserable, and we get into the whole get a job thing. Or you say, you gotta mow the lawn, but really they don't get the pieces yet. And that's what we do with our dream. We have a dream, but we say, oh, I can't do that. I don't really want that, because we're ashamed of the fact that we don't know how to do it. So let's just let all that shame and all that stuff go. Monkey, 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 monkey up the flagpole. Let it go. We're going to start with something simple and yet quite profound. And that is, if your dream is to have a really nice big house for your family, barbecue in the back, the whole thing, and you don't have that yet, let's start with that. And we'll play with a couple of other dreams. So here is you want the big house. You want a big house? How are you going to do that? Well, what's the step before you get a big house? Get a loan. And that leads to the house. Well, if you could do that, you'd do it tomorrow. You just go ahead and do it. So what keeps you from getting a loan? Well, maybe you've got bad credit. I don't know. We'll pick that, because that's what is it that keeps you from getting a loan? Well, you need to have good credit. To get a good loan, to get a big house. And maybe that big house is actually improving the house that you're in. Spending a hunk of money on getting a landscaper in, or you really like the location, you don't want to move, but you'd like to have a better together house. That'll count. We'll call that the big house. Okay, so how do you get good credit? You pay down your debt. And you pay down your credit on time. Well, the on time thing might be difficult, so at that point you have a chat with your bank and you say, I want to pay down my credit. I can't just walk in and give you, big old fat check. So what can we do to help me pay down my credit? I've got to make more money. Okay. Well, you're working full time, and that's not doing it. How are you going to make more money? And this is where we get into really creative mode. Maybe you have an extra room in your house. You know, you have that guest room that people don't seem to come and spend a lot of time in. And maybe there's a student at the college who needs a place to stay. And so you put up with the inconvenience of having someone come and go into the extra bedroom in your house, and you take the rent that you get from that student and you never see it. It just goes straight to the bank, into an account, which you put into your credit cards at the end of every month or 2 months or whatever it is that you've worked out with your banker to do. Maybe that's a book. Maybe you take a course in money management, or maybe if your dream is about all of this, maybe you take a course in how to finagle your credit. There's courses out there for that. Maybe you take a good look at the fact that you're working maybe 2 jobs already, and one of those jobs is just a lot of work and not a lot of payback. Can you upgrade your job? Maybe this course is about that. Maybe the course is about that. So that you can upgrade your job and make more money so that you can drop the second job, make more money, take all of that you make that's extra when you get that improvement on your job, and it goes straight to your credit cards. And then that becomes the way you pay down your debt. In the meantime, you're also looking at your credit score very carefully. You're talking to whoever you talk to find all the ways to get that better so that you can get a loan, so that you can move into your bigger house. And by the time you get there, you will know how to do this. You will be that person. So that's one way to get a bigger house. Now, maybe that's not it at all. Maybe your dream is really quite big, that you would like to make a life for you and your family that would allow that your children can go to college. Let's think of a dream that would have that. The trouble with making a lot of money for your kids to go to college is that in a way you don't get to see that. But if that's your dream, that's your dream, and that's a good thing. Let's do it. Let's put the kids in college. Okay? So, wherever they are, they might be in 9th grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, somewhere in there, and you're really kind of looking at this cliff coming at you. So, let's break this down. Okay, so if I want my kids in college, and I've got 3 kids and I've got 1 salary, that ain't gonna happen. Especially if they're very close in age. Because there's going to be at least 1 year when they're all in college at the same time. So let's take a good look at college pathways that can start at a very low income and be tradable. So you might want to look at junior colleges and community colleges. Now here's where you also get your kids involved, especially the one who's really driven. And the one who's driven, there's always one. If you have more than one child, you have one that's driven to go to college. And get them involved in this too. This is your ally to look all around your state and find that one place that they would be willing to go to begin their college career. But Mom, I really want to go to Stanford. Fine. If that's your dream, we'll do everything to get you in Stanford. Here's what I can afford. Your dream is going to be on you, and I will help and support you in everything you do to get yourself into Stanford. And I can pay for the first 2 years, and you can transfer. If you want to go straight through, we're going to talk about how to do that, but that's going to have to be that'll be what you do. This is what I'm doing. See, again, in a way, when somebody's dream clashes with your dream, find out a way for both dreams to occur. It doesn't mean you have to put your dream down. So here's a junior college or a community college that they can then transfer into, or scholarships. Now most scholarships require some stuff, and so you want to have time to look into them. So it's the same scholarship year after year, so just because you find it doesn't mean your kid has to have it right now. They can say, okay, this is a scholarship for people who are terribly interested in the tuba, and anybody wants to play the tuba, we got a scholarship. There are scholarships for all kinds of things. It's not just in the big sciences and arts. There are scholarships for all sorts of things. It takes a long time to do the study, but again, you've got somebody that you can pull in as an ally to also look for scholarships. So you can do that. Again, it comes down to because this dream has the requirement that it fits with the dream of the children. Because you're going to have one who doesn't want to go to college. He just or she just really doesn't want to do that. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of whatever. They would rather do something very different. And the goal there is to figure out what it is they really would like to do and help them do that. It is very interesting that there are people, who get their GED at 30, 35, their GED. They don't go to college till they're 40 because that wasn't their dream. That wasn't what they could do at the time. So we have to be very careful when it comes to involving other people in our dream, that they're on board. Now, I fully support sending kids through college. I think it's the way you do it. But there are children who really aren't made for college. They are either they're too studious. They like to read a lot. They just don't like to go to classes. They like to have a lot of experiences. They know a lot. They can learn a lot from computers, but they don't sit in classes well. And I get that. So we have to find out how to fit that child into some kind of a dream so that they don't feel abandoned. And this is where it gets a little tricky, but you can do it. So again, if the kids want to go to college, they got to do the grades. Okay? And so what you need then is you're going to start a fund. You're going to start a money fund, which you probably have already if you have children and this is your dream. But I want to suggest something. That if you have parents or family members, especially family members who have not had children or didn't have children, or for whatever reason aren't sending their own kids to college, call on them. And oddly enough, they're probably quite happy to put an amount of money every month into a bank account that would be strictly for college support for your children. Happy to do it. Never been asked, never occurred to them, didn't think about it. When you ask, they'll go, oh, well, yeah. Now, these are the same people who might, buy a cow for some village in Africa. Wonderful. They might sponsor a child in Bangladesh, teach her how to read, whatever. Wonderful. They can also do that for family. And that's something a lot of parents kind of forget about. So I really want you to think about that. And of course, then you do the same. And it's, if this is your dream and you've just had your first baby, do it now. Start now. $25 a month is almost nothing for most people to donate to a good cause, family, sending kids to college when they get there. And they will have a good nest egg by the time they get there if you do not touch it. And that's part of the dream. Part of the dream is that you turn away from some of the fun stuff that you want to pursue your dream. So this can go straight to there. But if you have kids in college as your dream, you've got to have kids as part of your team. And reward them for being on that team. Cheer them on. Be that one yes person for them, if that's their dream. This one, who doesn't want any part of it, also has a dream. Whatever that dream is, find the dream. And, it's really odd. I have worked with a couple of companies that deal with kids in trouble. And when you talk to kids in trouble, they've got addiction problems, they're running away, they're causing fights, they're doing stupid stuff, really stupid stuff. If you spend enough time and get down off the how dare you do that, that's wrong, it's illegal, you're going to ruin your life, blah, 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 all the stuff, and you kind of exhale. These are kids who had a dream that got stepped on really early and really hard because it didn't fit anywhere in the familial system or in the school system. But they had a dream. And so, let's find out. Let's find out what is the dream of that child. Okay, so we break it down. You're going to have to start a fund. Get parents, So let's take another scenario. Let's just take one more. And this can be a simple one and is one of the hardest ones to reach. What you really would like in your dream is to work from home, and maybe have time with your kids and family. Well, that's a big bite. You've worked outside the home all this time for a reason. And what you'd like to do is to reel it back in, and you've seen the pictures of people in home offices, and it just looks like heaven on earth to you. And that's what you'd like to do. So how do we chop that down And one of the chops to this is that you need space to do it. You have to have a home office. You have to have the extra room, the place in the basement, and only if that basement is a pleasant place to be. It's not going to work if it's, you know, all covered with cobwebs and open 2x4s and washing machines and things. Not so good. So you need that space. You need the work. You know, what is it people do at home? You know? I have my office in my home, and I have a couple of friends, one who's a hairdresser, and her dream was to do her work from her home, and she reached it, and she's doing fine. Someone else could be a dog groomer from home. There are many things that can work from home. Maybe the work you're looking for isn't at that level. You're looking for something that is a lot more substantial. And maybe that's something that the place where you do work actually offers, but for some reason you haven't picked up on that offer yet. I kind of doubt that. That sort of is something that's passing by. People don't want you at home. They want you in the office more and more these days. So what can you do? What is the work to do? And that is going to require some research. You know, what is work at home? What do people do who truly have an at-home business? And it's funny how that goes. I have another friend who was doing, she was selling herbs online. And she realized that she and her husband were spending a lot of time, you know, sitting in the basement packaging herbs and driving around, and they weren't online in the beginning. They were just wholesale. So they were packaging a lot of herbs and driving all over the place, and she finally went to online. And then they could package the herbs and send them out because all the orders came in online. And it just went that way. Do you have space for products? Do you have space to be, you know, storing stuff that you're reshipping and all of that? That's a concern. So that would be one of the things you could do is to research products and distribution. Again, if you're in, the wave of towards shopping all online is really where it's going. Online is that, I think used to call it the wave of the future. It's right now. So products and distributions can be a problem because you also need the space for that. And so what else? You know, there are other things, but it's online is one way to get here. Now that's like saying, you know, step over here on the beach and with a little work you can get from the south of England to France, no trouble. You know, it's a big jump. It's a big jump. It's a very exciting jump, but it's possible. So in your research, again, you're going to need some courses, some training. How can I learn the things that are necessary for learning in order to work through to this? Now, when I'm making a video and I do work online, yes, I see people in my office and and I love that work. And I'm online. And so what are my products? What are my offerings? What is my distribution? Well, my products are the training, and they're distributed online. So I store nothing. So that's not a problem. So you come down to the first bite that you can take. And on your paper with your pen, I hope you've been drawing these boxes. And maybe you like circles. You know, doesn't matter. Start with your dream. Fill in at least 4 steps. And each step will take you to the next step, but you have to walk through it. You have learning to do. And maybe this is even reversed. You do the research before you take a course. Look at a lot of things. Look at a lot of possibilities. If you want to work from home, you're going to find a system that allows you to do something that brings in the income that will support you being home. And right now, the internet is, believe it or not, young enough that it's barely gotten to a trot. So this is certainly a very good time to think in terms of that. So here is your map. Come down somewhere to here and start walking forward. Certainly I am available for consult. You can call me, the number here. I am very excited about your possibilities, your dreams, your getting forward on your life. Being happy is a lot more fun than not being happy. It just is. And even in the battle to get towards where you want to go, that's as interesting as actually being there. You always say the journey is what it's about, not the goal. Well, I could use a little goal right about now, but the journey is fabulous. It is fabulous. And if the journey's fabulous, imagine what it will be like when you reach your dream. When you suddenly look around and go, oh, I'm here now. I'm here now. And it feels good. And I look back and I think, my goodness, no wonder I couldn't make it happen before. No wonder. So here I am, my age, and not very long ago, I couldn't have made a video. I couldn't have written blog posts. I didn't know what a rotator was. I had never heard of lead pages or landing pages. I didn't know any of that stuff. I was an email queen. I emailed my friends, and that was about it. And I'm a very different person now. And it's fine. Haven't lost anybody. Nobody's left me for it. It's, in fact, wonderful. So I encourage you, take these videos, watch them as many times as you need to. Trust in yourself. Trust in yourself. You've come this far. There's no reason to stop now. You have the possibility to just become as much bigger as you are from that tiny baby. You can become that much bigger again because you're already on the move. So I really thank you for these 5 videos. Share them with your friends. Send your friends over to them. They're fine. They're out there. It's all exciting. It's just exciting. Now, for those of you who've, you know, this is the other half. This is the thing. This is what I'm doing. And I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. So pay attention. Work from anywhere. I want to be able to do my work from anywhere. So, I'm a blogger with hundreds of people who've signed up for my blog and get my notices and all of that. Now, I was a therapist, and I still am a therapist, and I still will be a therapist online now. And now I have the capacity to do this work online. So, did I know how to do that? Heck no, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that 6 months ago. Now, I could do that from anywhere, theoretically. I could be lying on the beach in Tahiti, pop open my computer, get on Skype, and talk to anyone who needs to talk with me. That's not so bad. But I had to learn many things. I had to learn, I'm going to put it down here. And I had to learn how to commit to myself. I had to learn how to make things work online. And I chose a system that is working for me. I chose Empower Network because I can buy their products, and their products are the training. And having bought them, and I'm an affiliate, and they keep adding more and more because the training does keep increasing. The internet is growing really fast. So I have these lessons that I'm buying, and that is my product. That's my product. And so I don't store them anywhere. They're all online. Everything's online. And I can sell them. So I can take, it's a little like going to college, walking in the front door of the college and selling the whole first year to the guy behind me in line and being able to take huge commissions off those sales. So that's what I'm doing. And that's where it's going. I don't need the space because the product is it's out there in the universe. And I get to go to events, which are only for people who've already bought. There's no pitching at the events, and they're great fun because we all get together and support each other. And I can choose any of the people in the system to teach me something new. I can see what they're doing. I can find out about what they're doing. It's a system that is unique, powerful, supportive, and empowering. And I'm all over it. I love it. So I'm going to suggest that you take a look at it. It's a rigorous course of life. You do work the way you've been doing in this. What you get out of it is what you put into it. It's not a lottery. It's pretty irresistible. So for a very small amount of money, you can click into it for $25 for a month and look at it. You're going to spend that much on lattes anyway, and what's that going to do for you? So do that. Look at the system. See what it smells like and feels like and how it sounds in your ear. Meet Dave Wood. Meet Tony Rush. Meet some of the other people that are in there. Nicole, Tracy Walker. These are people who have been in this system for a long time, all the way down to people who have started the day before you did. There is a lot of open communication, and it's quite exciting. So I invite you to do that, and I think what you really should do is just go ahead and click on that. There's a URL somewhere here down below. If you have to do a cut and paste, do a cut and paste. Do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to learn what you need to learn, to do what you need to do to create your dream, because your dream is unique and your dream will enhance the world, and the world needs you. Thank you, and farewell.